गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि श्री गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की। हरे कृष्णा। सर्वप्रथम आप
Hare
सभी
Krishna, and first and foremost, I want to give my wishes, best wishes for Duleti. So today in US it's being celebrated, and tomorrow it will be celebrated in Bharatvarsha. So the festival of colors is here. Govind TV also has presented the backdrop very colorful. So this festival of colors or Holi is not only limited to spreading colors on each other, throwing colors on each other, just laughing is not sufficient. Although it is the festival of love, Srimati Radharani and Thakurji used to play this festival, and there were only two things that were involved, and that should be done. That is love, and the other is surrender. So this festival of colors is the festival of love and surrender. And in this surrender, the honorary devotional service towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead is hidden. So we just celebrate this for one day, but in Braj, the festivities start 10 days prior to the festival itself. So from Nandgaon, a Brahmana or a Panditji comes to invite that you should come and visit us to play Holi, and then they are welcomed by throwing sweet laddus on them. So earlier it used to be the festival when they used to throw laddus, but now they are throwing or beating with the stick, that is latmar. So previously they used to throw sweet laddus, and it was not about just hurting, but it was a type of love. But now these days it has become as if we are taking or avenging each other. So even if we don't understand this festival or not, but I just understand that The life should not be black and white. Life should be filled with colors. Some people are in devotional service very seriously, or in black and white. They are so serious. No singing, dancing. They just speak with always with a bad mood. So bhakti is mellows. It implies colors, and it has many types of colors. Dasyas, sakya, like fraternal relationship, then paternal, so on and so forth. So all these types of rasas or mellows should be there in pure devotional service towards the Lord. So very beautiful this color of festival of colors is present, and we are very fortunate that Amindar and Prabhuji and Yashomati Mataji are sitting next to each other. So I just want to add something. The birthday of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and for today, for people of US, it is Jagannath Mishra Utsav. So today, in the home of Jagannath Mishra, Mahaprabhu's birth was celebrated as Nand Utsav was celebrated on the birth of Lord Sri Krishna. Similarly, today is Jagannath Mishra festival. So there it was Nand Dighar Anand. And here, Shachi's home, we got Lord Nimai. So yesterday we sang. So today is very beautiful Jagannath Mishra Utsavar festival. So there are so many people who have gathered. So we will listen to the pastime. I was about to say that the manifestation of the Lord Chaitanya was to distribute the holy names of the Lord. So this holy name is very easy and convenient, but it's not cheap. When we get something very easily, but if we consider, then they are not cheap. For example, the air we get so easily. The Lord has the Lord has made such a process that the air just passes near us. So it is easier, but it is not cheap. You can ask Amindaran Prabhu during COVID times how much oxygen was used and how expensive it was. So we get oxygen easily, but it's not considered to be cheap. Not God forbid if we are hospitalized and we have to but the bill, then we can realize how much expensive it is. For example, water is easily accessible, but it's not cheap. A few days back, we went to Dubai. There was a cruise and there was a yatra. So when we were to buy water, then we realized how costly the water is. So although we were in the ocean and there is no depth of water in the ocean, but in midst of that ocean, if you want to have drinking water, you have to spend so many dollars to get that. So water is accessible, but it's not cheap. Oxygen is accessible, easy to get, but it's not cheap. Similarly, the holy names of the Lord are easy or accessible, but it's not cheap. We think that Hari name, Mahamantra, that it is very easy or accessible. It is accessible, but it's not cheap. We might think that We don't need not to work hard. We will do it easily and we will do it. But to do it regularly with regulation, it requires hard work. So it's not cheap. So there are so many glories of the holy names of the Lord, and so many times we see sometimes some people they come and perform devotional service, but they just leave the devotional service. And what is the reason behind it? Because in their heart, they are unable to see the Lord in their heart. So people think that what we need to do in performing devotional service, this material world is far better than that. So when we leave devotional service, because we are unable to feel or see the Lord, Damodar, because they're unable to see the pastimes of the Lord, and the other reason being they are not able to have the qualities of the Lord in their heart. So it is true. So whose consciousness or heart is impure, in that impure heart, the Lord's name, qualities, and pastimes cannot appear or manifest. But the name of the Lord can be manifested in that impure heart. So, so our heart is impure. So no matter how much pastimes we will listen, but the realization that Parikshit Maharaj used to get, or what Shukdev Goswami or Rup Sanatan or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got, we don't get that. We listen and we enjoy a bit as well, but it doesn't touches our heart. Why? Because our heart is not so pure. So in that unclean heart, we won't be able to see the pastimes of the Lord clearly. We might not be able to see his qualities properly, or we are not able to see his form. But in this impure form, his heart, so his name can appear in or manifest in our heart. So for people like us who are impure, we should constantly chant the holy names of the Lord. Or no matter, even if our heart is impure, but if we still continue chanting the holy names of the Lord, so gradually, Cheto Darpan Marjanam, so our heart will get cleansed, and in that pure heart, the Lord's form, his pastimes will appear or manifest, and his qualities will appear as well. So, in essence, till the point our heart is impure, contaminated, till that time, no matter how, we need to keep on working hard to chant the holy names of the Lord. And when once the heart is cleansed, it will automatically happen. So people will have to say that please stop me. So when we eat, we get so involved that we have to tell two, three people that please stop me if I'm overdoing it. So at that point, when our heart will become so pure that constantly we will have holy names in our heart, but right now our heart is not pure, so we need to work hard and take or chant the holy names of the Lord. So the reason being for stopping the annual devotional service
कीर्तन करता है, हरि नाम का जाप
is because our heart is not cleansed. But if someone chants the holy names of the Lord, then gradually his pastimes form and qualities of the Lord manifest. So there might be a question that if Harinam is the essence or conclusion, then what is the need of association? Why do we need the pastimes of the Lord to be heard? In the conclusion of Bhagavatam, Shukdev ji says that that the essence is Harinam Sankirtanam.
कि
Even
राम
in Ramayana
सुमिरिय गा
conclusion, it is said
राम का नाम गाना ही
that
रामायण का
to chant the holy names of the Lord is the essence of Ramayana. In Bhagavad Gita also, indirectly, Lord has said that wherever the names of the Lord are sung, there is the victory. So, all the Vedas and scriptures glorify the chanting of the holy names. Then, why do we need to have these kathas or pastimes of the Lord? Although chanting is the best,
इसलिए क्योंकि
but we need to listen to the pastimes of the Lord, because through this medium we are able to understand the
हमें
glories of
महिमा ही जाननी है
the holy names of the Lord. And that is what we need to understand through the medium of association and
से
katha or pastimes of the Lord.
ये भगवत कथा और
And
कीर्तन
we will
सिक्के की
get
दो
that
बाजू है
by associating with devotees and listening to the pastimes of the Lord. The more we listen to the pastimes of the Lord, the more we will be enthusiastic to perform congregational chanting. And the more we chant, the more we will be able to understand the pastimes of the Lord. When we will do both of these, then our whole life will get revolutionized. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is singing the glories of the congregational chanting of the holy names.
श्री कृष्ण
So it cleanses
इस भवसागर में लगी हुई
our heart,
क्षमन कर देता है कृष्ण
it destroys the fire of our material existence. It is, it nourishes the lotus of our progress in devotional service. It is the life and soul of knowledge. And at every step, it gives us the nectar and it drenches us in ecstasy and bliss. And it is the most victorious of all. Or it is capable to make us victorious. So some people might think that today is the fifth day of the Katha, and we are still discussing the first verse. But let me just tell you the glories of this
श्री
verse. You can see
द्वारा
in
कहे गए
on the screen below.
शिक्षा अष्टकम का प्रथम श्लोक है और इसकी महिमा क्या है
So this is the first verse of the 8 verses spoken by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what are his glories?
अष्टक जेई पढ़े शूने महाप्रभु शिक्षाष्टक जेई पढ़े शूने कृष्ण प्रेम भक्ति तार बाढ़े दीन दीने कृष्ण प्रेम भक्ति तार बाढ़े दीन दीने महाप्रभु शिक्षाष्टक श्लोक श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु के
So the
द्वारा
verse of this Shiksha Ashtakam by Mahaprabhu, which was given by him. So this verse that we have been listening since last 4 days. So this verse, whoever reads it or listens, what is the fruit or benefit of the same? Their devotional service and their love towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead will keep on progressing each day. So what more do we need in this world? What the greatest wealth of all is, and the fruit of Srimad Bhagavatam also is that so everything is negligible or futile again as compared to the love towards the Lord. And when we read this verse or listen to this about this verse, then our love towards the Godhead becomes more and more. So we are going to listen about Vidyavadhu Jivanam
प्रभु की
today,
लीला बहुत सुनेंगे, तो इसे समझने के लिए आइए
and we will listen to the same and to the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as well. But before that, let's seek the blessings and mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That, oh Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please be merciful on us and please bless us that we are able to understand your pastimes and your philosophy.
जय जय नवल किशोर, जय गोपी चित चोर प्रभु, जय जय माखन चोर, जय जय माखन चोर। श्री कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की, कली पावन अवतार श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु की, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की। उपस्थित
Hare Krishna. I welcome all loving devotees of Srimad Bhagavatam and who are loving devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the devotees. I also extend my warm welcome and gratitude to the senior devotees of our Brahma Madhva disciplic succession. I also welcome you all who have joined through the medium and support through the medium of electronic devices and support of Govind TV like Facebook, YouTube, Zoom, etc. All the listeners and the organizers of this beautiful Katha, the residents of Chicago and Boston, US, Bhagubhai Patel and Ramanbhai, Lakshmi Ben's family, and from Chicago, Naresh Prabhu, Brajvilasini Mataji, and they all family members, Anish Vinesh, Sumitra Ben, and from Boston, Durlabhai, Trupti Mata, Sangeeta Ben, Araj Ben, Shailesh Bhai, and all the devotees. So on the fifth day of the Srimad Bhagavatam Katha, I welcome you all and please accept our humble obeisances at your lotus feet.
राधे श्याम।
Radhe Shyam.
वंदे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य बाल्य लीलाम मनोहरम, लोकिकिमपि तामीश चेष्टया वलिरांतराम। मैं उस श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु के चरणों में
I bow down at the lotus feet of the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was born on the full moon of Falgun during the evening time,
और उन्होंने लौकिकम
And
अपि, इस
Lokikam api, that means by living in this material world
दिव्य
beautifully and
लीला संपन्न की है।
transcendentally has performed his
प्रभु के चरणों में
pastimes of
कोटि
the
वंदन
childhood.
करता हूँ।
So I bow down at the lotus feet of such Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
हुए
So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested,
कार्तिक के 11वें दिन
and on the 11th day
नामकरण
after his birth, he was named.
ऐसे तो माताएं नाम
Usually,
जन्म होने से पहले ही रख देती हैं।
mothers decide the names even before the child is born. Mothers are very active in that sense.
तो नवद्वीप मायापुर की स्त्रियों ने
So the women of Navdip Maya
रख दिया था
had already named him Nimai on the day of his birth.
नाम रखने के पीछे कारण ये था
And the reason behind the same was that prior to that, there were so many daughters which were born, but they all died.
तो इस बालक को किसी की
So
नजर न लगे,
to protect this child from the evil eye,
उस पर
so
किसी की नजर
the
न
neem
लगे,
tree is
इसलिए
very
इस बालक
bitter
का नाम रखा
and it saves from the evil eye. That's why he was named as or addressed as Nimai. So this was the pet name.
के द्वारा लीगली नाम तो रखना पड़ेगा।
So, but they need to have a legal name according to the astrology and
निमाय
horoscope.
का जन्म हुआ 11 दिन बीते
So after the 11 days have
और नाम
elapsed
जब समय
after his birth, and when it was appropriate time for him to be named, then Shachimata and Jagannath Mishra
वैष्णव को
called so many Vaishnavas and Brahmanas and did everything that is auspicious.
नाना
So his maternal grandfather or Shachimata's father, Sri Nilambar Chakravarti, arrived,
और जगन्नाथ मिश्र ने
and Jagannath Mishra
चरणों में गंगा रज लगाई और
venerated their feet with the holy water Ganga ji, and
पर लगाई,
he used that
बालक को वस्त्र अलंकार धारण कराए,
that
ब्राह्मणों को भी बहुत सुंदर
water
किया।
on the head of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he gave charity to so many Brahmanas or all the Brahmanas present.
कराया,
And there was a beautiful fire sacrifice being performed as well. And when they were contemplating that when we are supposed to keep a name,
उस गांव में एक तेजस्वी
that
सन्यासी
there was a very great sage
अपने अपने स्थान
who was very
हो गए,
effulgent, and everybody stood up. So there was no need of introduction because of his potency itself was his introduction.
ठाकुर लिखते हैं
So Sri VrindavanDas Thakur writes, he was not any ordinary person. He was Dev Guru Brihaspati himself, who has taken or changed the form and came to Navdeep Mayapur Dham. So Jagannath Mishra
के गोद में दे दिया,
sat Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the lap
भविष्य देख
of that
कहने लगा,
sage, and that sage, after seeing the horoscope of this child, said
गुणों का वर्णन
that
मैं तो क्या
your child's qualities cannot even be described by Lord Brahma.
बहुत बड़ा
So what about me? He will be a Chakravarti.
संसार को कृष्ण
He
प्रेम में डुबाएगा।
he will drown or immerse all everybody in this world in the love towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
इसे लोग
So
गौर भी कहेंगे,
as he is fair, he will be addressed as Gaur, Gaurang,
कहेंगे,
and Gauranga Krishna.
भी कहेंगे,
He will be addressed as Gaur Hari as well.
नोट कर लीजिएगा,
So Gaur Sundar.
गौर निताई की
So
डिटीज है, उसका नाम रख सकते हैं।
so you should note down these names. So the deities that you have of Gaurnita, you can name them in such manner.
गौर भी कहते हैं,
So his address is Gaur.
कहते हैं गौर,
He's also addressed as Gaurang and Gaurang Krishna. His address is Gaur Sundar, Gaur Hari,
इसे लोग गौर गोपाल भी कहेंगे,
and he will be addressed as Gaur Gopal as well.
इसलिए सची नंदन भी कहेंगे,
As he's Shachi's son, he will be addressed as Sachinanda.
जगन्नाथ सूत भी कहेंगे,
He will be addressed as Jagannath Sut as well because his father is Jagannath Mishra. He has divine limbs.
कहेंगे,
So he will be called Diptang.
नामामृत लाल से भी कहेंगे, कृष्ण चैतन्य भी कहेंगे,
So he will be addressed as Sri Krishna Chaitanya, and he will be called or addressed as Mahaprabhu as well. So all these are his pet names according to his form, pastimes, etc. But according to the horoscope and according to Vedic scriptures and injunctions,
विश्वम्भर होगा,
we will address him as Vishwambhar.
विश्वम्भर रखा गया.
So he was addressed as Vishwambhar. So Sri Krishna Chaitanya is his name after celibacy.
तो केशव भारती ने संन्यास देते समय रखा.
It was given by Keshav Bharati while he was being initiated. But on the 11th day after his birth, this effulgent sage named him as Vishwambar. So it implies or means the person who takes care of everyone. So he takes care of the entire world. And it's not just to make others eat or drink, but a person cannot be satisfied till he doesn't achieve love. Therefore, your child in the whole world, he will provide love to everyone, and by doing so, he will satisfy the souls of the living entities. He will take care of the souls of the living entities by providing them love and congregational chanting. Therefore, he should be called Vishwambhara. So, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has arrived to start the revolution of Sankirtana, and in Vedas, the glories of congregational chanting are present, but they were confidential or secretive. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed it and portrayed through his life that how we can do it. So when, even before he manifested, before that, he made everybody to make Haribol because of the lunar eclipse. So when Mahaprabhu manifested or appeared, and he's a small child, infant, so the neighbors or the women in the neighborhood used to come at the home of Chachi Mata, and they used to feed this Nimai or Vishwambar. So this Vishwambar or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was such a small child, and he started crying. And to pacify him, the women presented him with some toys, but he was still crying. Some women thought to feed him or give him something or so. So 1, 2, 3 hours passed, but he was crying unstoppably, and everybody was distressed. What is the reason behind him crying? Then one woman was thinking, when she gave up everything, then she said, "Oh my Lord, how will he stop crying?" And as she said that, Nimai stopped crying. Shachi Mata said, "What have you said?" He said that, "I just said that, oh Hari, when will he stop crying?" So you said Hari. So if you say Hari, he stopped crying. Whenever he stopped to cry, if they used to say Hari Hari, he will stop. So now it became his habit that whenever he had a mood to listen to the congregational chanting, then he used to cry. And everybody realized that till the point we will do congregational chanting, he will not be pacified.
Hari bol, Hari Hari bol, Hari Hari bol, Lala हरि हरि बोल, गाइए। हरि हरि बोल लाला, हरि हरि बोल। मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल, मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल। केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल, केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल। नाम हरि का प्राण न प्यारा, नाम हरि का प्राण न प्यारा, गाइए। नाम हरि का प्राण न प्यारा,
नाम हरि का प्राण न प्यारा।
संत जनों का परम सहारा,
संत जनों का परम सहारा।
नाम लिए कछु लगे न मोह,
नाम लिए कछु लगे न मोह।
लगता है कुछ पैसा लगता है। नाम लिए कछु लगे न मोह,
नाम लिए कछु लगे न मोह।
केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल,
केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल।
मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल,
मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल।
केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल,
केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल।
हरि हरि बोल लाला, हरि हरि बोल,
हरि हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल।
हरि हरि बोल लाला, हरि हरि बोल।
हरि हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल।
हरि हरि बोल निमाई, हरि हरि बोल, बोल निमाई।
हरि हरि बोल।
हरि नाम संकीर्तन की निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। इस प्रकार फिर तो जब भी श्री चैतन्य
So
महाप्रभु
in this manner, whenever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to cry, all the women of the neighborhood used to gather and start performing congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord. And Nimai used to cry, smile uncontrollably. So once I asked my Guru Maharaj one question as he was sharing the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he was in the stage of bhava, and I asked him that, oh Guru Maharaj, if we want to satisfy Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so what is the topmost thing that we should do?
तब गुरुदेव ने ये कथा
At that
सुनाई।
time, Guru Maharaj shared this pastime that when Nimai was a child and he used to cry, and even if he got twice of food, he was still crying. He was given everything, but he was still crying. But when they started congregational chanting, he started laughing loudly. So the most important thing to satisfy Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is congregational chanting of the holy names. So when he was a child, at that time also he had congregational chanting, and when he was in his youth and even in his old times, when he's in Gambhira, he's still enjoying congregational chanting. He had preached and requested to do congregational chanting. It is said when he became a little bigger, so there was a test of what are his interests. In some homes, it is done that what will this child have become when he will be old. So all the Brahmanas selected 7 things, and first was pencil or pen, second was grain, third was sweets, fourth was a toy, fifth was a scale, and sixth was a hug, and seventh was Bhagavatam. So just to understand what will be the interest of the child. So if he selects a pen, then he will be well educated. So if there are grains, if he takes that he will keep on eating throughout the day. And if there are sweets in him, he will become diabetic. If there is a toy, that he will play throughout his life. And the sixth is scale, if he takes the scale. So this Revati Mata in Cincinnati, she'll stand on the shop, that he will be in business. So that is his interest. And the sixth was Hal. And if someone selects the plow, then he will become a farmer. And the seventh was Bhagavatam and Kartal. So if he selects Bhagavatam, then it means that he will be busy in doing bhajan and kirtan. So everybody was anxious. What will he choose or select? And what will he become? Because what will the people in the society will say? That is what we are worried about. But oh, dear devotees, it's mentioned in the Vedic injunctions and scriptures that at that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu selected Srimad Bhagavatam, and he, with other hand, he chose this prasadam and he started distributing it to others. So the Brahmana said that he will be a preacher and he will be the greatest charitable person. He will give the love towards the Godhead to everyone. So there are so many pastimes. When Nimai was a child, in his veranda, there was a snake. So when there was a snake, and Nimai started playing with that snake.
और जैसे भगवान श्री विष्णु क्षीर सागर में शेष
So
शैया
as Lord Vishnu sleeps on the milk ocean, similarly, Nimai slept on the snake, and the snake was also enjoying. That is what Lord is, who can sleep on the snake and can enjoy that. Even if you tell that yesterday in your bedroom there was a snake, you haven't seen, just someone has said that I've seen a snake in your bedroom. Would you be able to sleep? Will you be able to be at peace? If a little cockroach also comes, we get worried. But our Lord,
so इस प्रकार से जब आजू बाजू
so
वाली
in this manner, when the women around saw this, Narini, Sarvijaya and Malini, etc., they all called Shachimada and Sita. and she saw that my small child is sitting on top of a snake. She got unconscious, and Nimai told the snake that now you should go, otherwise everybody will become unconscious. We will play some other time. So the snake went, and Nimai was put on the lap of Shachimata, and they all called the Brahmanas and venerated him. So I just want to add, when our children are small, they play in so many different ways.
क्रिकेट खेलते
They play
हैं,
soccer, cricket, etc.
मोबाइल में गेम खेलते हैं. ये निमाई
But this Nimai or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was a child,
होता था.
he only used to play one thing. He never used to play anything else. And his play was of congregational chanting. With all his friends, whenever he used to get time, he used to perform congregational chanting. So he used to say that let's do congregational chanting. And in Navdvip, this small Nimai or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was to be surrounded by all the people, and they used to sing or do the congregational chanting. And small Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to dance beautifully, and our devotees have presented it in the bhajans.
लाला सचीर दुलाला नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में सुंदर लाला सचीर दुलाला नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में भाले चंदन तिलक मनोहर अलका शोभे कपोलन में सुंदर लाला सचीर दुलाला नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में. इस प्रकार उस नवदीप मायापुर की स्त्रियां गाती कीर्तन करती.
In this manner, the women of Navdvip used to sing and do the congregational chanting, and since childhood, used to enjoy this congregational chant. When he used to roam around with his friends, he used to do the congregational chanting. On one day, on the banks of Gangaji, this small in Nimai was doing congregational chanting, and one dog came and joined them, and he also started doing or performing congregational chanting. And as we all are aware, Mahaprabhu knows about all our previous births, and he understood that in his previous birth he was a great devotee of the Lord, but because of one small mistake,
उच्चिष्ट दूसरों को खिला दिया.
he offered something that he has eaten given to someone else. We should not give remnants of a food to anyone, otherwise we will get the body of a dog. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw that he was a devotee, but as he has given something, the leftover food, to others, and that is why he became a dog. So whenever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to do congregational chanting, then this dog used to join them. He said that, where will you roam around all alone? You join me, come to my home. So as he was found on the banks of Gangaji, he was addressed or called as Gangadas. And when they reached home, when Shachimati saw that my boy had bought a dog, and she started shouting, my child has lost it and he has ruined my home. I'm already distressed because of you, and now you have bought this dog with you. keep this dog outside the home. He didn't allow him to go inside the house. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went inside.
को गंगा तट पे
Shachi Mata left the dog again on the banks of Gangaji. And when they woke up, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that, where is my Gangadas? Gangadas was no more there. Chachi Mata has already sent him away. So she said that no matter if mother doesn't agree, so whatever food and sweets she used to give, he used to gather them and give it to Gangadas or this dog.
और महाप्रभु का वह प्रसाद
And
खाकर
by getting that food, he became a devotee of the Lord. It is mentioned in Chaitanya Bhagavat. Vrindavan Das Thakur writes, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to congregational chanting, the dog used to chant in the voice of humans, and clearly people used to understand and listen his Mahamantra.
बड़ा
He
अफसोस
recited it very nicely, and there was one regret in his life. I've got such a body that I cannot even perform devotional service. So he drowned himself in the water,
चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने कहा
and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that don't worry, he is already being liberated. So I just want to add one thing.
सबके स्वरूप
The form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arouses the form of everyone. Even the dog's original form, when it appeared, by just listening to the congregational chanting by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Mother Shachi used to decorate him with beautiful gold ornaments. So as daily he went on the banks of Gangaji and he was doing congregational chanting. And at that time, two thieves, Dumali and Meshmali, they both thought that we haven't stolen anything. So no matter what, today we are going to steal today. So they both reached the banks of Gangaji and they saw that there was a child dancing in midst of all the kids, and he's wearing beautiful ornaments. So both these thieves, what they did, they also started doing congregational chanting and they joined their team. So these two were thieves. They had no interest in congregational chanting or anything, but just they wanted to steal, so that's why they joined the team. But the effect of congregational chanting, or even if you're doing it in falsehood, it becomes truthful, and sooner or later they become purified.
एक दिन बनत बन जाई झूठा खेलो सच्चाई कभी कभी क्या ना
So sometimes it so happens when we are online, we do the chanting and we do the congregational chanting. Some people are sleeping. When they get a spotlight, they become active. So for some time, even if we do it falsely, still he will become truthful. You can see here. So this Dhumali and Meshmali were just pretending, and they joined their team of congregational chanting. And this small Nimai, they took him aside, and these two thieves told him, "Oh, child, what is your name?" In Bengali, they asked. Then he replied, "My name is Nimai." So the thief said, "Do you want to eat sweet meat? And do you want to go to attend a carnival.
So मेला जाबो मिष्टी खाबो कोथाय मेला कतो दूर
So
निमाई ने पूछा
Nimai asked, where is it? How far is it?
चोर कहते हैं कतो दूर
So the thief said, it's not that far.
यहाँ बाजू में गंगा की जो धार है वहीं
It's just next to Gangaji.
चलो निये चलो मेला जाबो मिष्टी खाबो मैं मेला जाऊंगा मिष्टी खाऊंगा
So he said that, yeah, I want to go to the carnival and I want to eat the sweetmeats. So one thief, he kept Nimai on his shoulders. And then Nimai said, I will come with you, but on one condition. He said, what? That you should not stop congregational chanting because we have taken me away from congregational chanting, so you need to continue. So these two said that we will perform congregational chanting. So they both took Kartala and started doing the kirtan.
धुमाली ने निमाई को अपने कंधे पर
So
बिठाया
Dhumali had put Nimai on his shoulder and they're chanting of the names. But by the touch of Mahaprabhu and the effect of congregational chanting, this Dhumali thought of stealing got eradicated. He thought that this child has some potency, magical power, that my thought of robbing him is getting removed. So when the other one took the child on his shoulder, so he also started congregational chanting. So these both thieves got purified and they both took him to the carnival and they offered him sweetmeats, etc. and while doing congregational chanting, and they left him at his home. So the people of the home were distressed, where is Nimai? And when they reached, they said that we have been searching or looking for you. Where have you been? He said that two nice people, although these were thieves, he said that two people took me to the carnival and they offered me sweetmeats and they gave me toys, etc. So these two, they wanted to see and thank him. So to thank them, but when they saw these thieves, they thought that they will be beaten, so they ran off. But these two thieves' hearts were changed, transformed. And then whenever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to congregational chanting, these thieves used to come in hiding, in secret, and do congregation chanting with them and take the benefit of that. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a small child, he used to perform congregational chanting. When he was a youth, he started the revolution of congregational chanting with Haridas Thakur, Nityanand Prabhu along with him. They started congregational chanting. And when he became so, after a few years, when he was traveling to Vrindavan through the medium of Jharkhand, in the forest, when he saw so many animals, he started congregational chanting and they all started dancing and singing on that. So throughout his life, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught and given congregational chanting to everyone. So today, he is in the stage of Mahabhav. And in this situation or condition, he is speaking the glories of the potency of the holy names of the Lord. He says, in this Kali Yuga, there is no other solution for welfare of any living entity. Therefore, we should perform congregational chanting because it purifies our heart and he removes all our distresses and it nourishes our heart and consciousness. And the fourth today, Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, Vidya Vadhu Jivanam.
पणमार्जनम भवमहा दावाग्निर्वापणम् श्रेयः कैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणम् विद्यावधू जीवनम् आनन्दाम्बुधिवर्धनं प्रतिपदम् पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मस्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनम्। श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells about the fourth quality or adjective of congregational chanting. He says, Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. So when he spoke about the three other adjectives, then if Swarup Damodar or Ramananda asked, it is mentioned in the interpretation, the verse in front of your screen below.
विद्यावधु जीवनम इति वदति श्री गौरचंद्रः। पूर्व पक्ष में माने चेतो दर्पण मार्जनम, चित्त शुद्ध हो गया, भव महादावाग्नि निर्वापणम, दुख भी दूर हो गया।
So our heart got purified, our distress got resolved, and our devotional service, our consciousness becomes nourished or nurtured. So we got the pure devotional service towards the Lord. So since last three adjectives, we have got the unalloyed devotional service towards the Lord. After getting that, when will we get the pure form of the Lord? Oh, pure form for us. So till now, we consider ourselves to be the Lord of this and that. But when will we come to our eternal form? It's realization. So he gives the fourth adjective. He says that if we continue to perform congregational chanting, then we will attain our eternal form. That means Vidya Vadhu Jivanam means Vidya means Lord Shri Krishna. And if we perform congregational chanting, so one day we will become the wife of the Lord. So in this manner, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requests Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. So let's understand it in more detail. The Vidya, as you might all are aware, we speak it so many times. Vadhu means wife, and Jivan means life and soul.
So विद्या रूपी वधु का जीवन है श्री कृष्ण संकीर्तनम। तो विद्या किसे कहते हैं?
So what exactly is this Vidya? What exactly is Vidya? So if we see from the perspective of Bhagavatam, we will listen from other perspectives as well. But first of all, if we try to understand from Bhagavatam what is the meaning of Vidya, so sometimes it so happens that people of this world study about the material world and they think that this is education or knowledge. But if it's knowledge, then how good it is, that also we need to understand. So if there are so many types of science, which one is the best of all? So it's a great discussion and science. So according to Bhagavatam, what exactly is Vidya? Let's understand that first. So in Srimad Bhagavatam 4th canto, there is a pastime between Narad Muni and Prachin Bruhi. You might have heard about the pastimes of Pracheta on the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So there was a king whose name was Prachin, and he used to kill animals.
से अच्छे थे, अज्ञान के
So although he was a great king at heart, but as he was ignorant, he used to kill animals for fire sacrifice and etc. So when Narad Muni saw that the king is inquisitive and he is ignorant, and if he gets the knowledge, then he will not do that. So Narad Muni got this
प्राचीन बरही को
merciful
उपदेश दिया,
and he gave a great knowledge
चौथे स्कंद के
to him,
अध्याय में
which is mentioned in the 29th chapter of 4th canto, which Maitre Muni shares with Vidurji. So let me present this one verse in front of you so that you can understand that what exactly is this Vidya or knowledge.
बृहद्दान माने कर्म नावेशियत परम तत्कर्म हरितोषम यत् तत्कर्म हरितोषम यत् सा विद्या तन्मतिर्यया सा विद्या तन्मतिर्यया। ये नारद मुनि के वचन हैं।
So these are the words of Sri Narad Muni that are spoken to Brih. So he says, "Oh Prachin Barhi, whatever work we do without the fruit, getting the benefit or fruit of it, you are unaware of that. And that is why you are entangled in these material sins." So although so many things were said, but in this verse, two things are there. What exactly is karma and what is education or vidya, knowledge? So first, in the second line, first word, it's a tat karma. So tat karma here implies sat karma or good work or good deeds. So whatever work that we do, Hari Tosham, Hari means Lord and Tosha means satisfied or happy. So whatever work makes Lord Hari satisfied and happy, that should be considered as satkarma or good deeds. All other are sinful activities. So whatever we do is sinful. Only the work that satisfies the Lord and is for happiness of the Lord is satkarma. So whatever we do to make ourselves happy, to satisfy our senses, that is sin, that is lust. Therefore, in our life, all our activities should be dovetailed to satisfy the Lord and for His happiness. So first and foremost, although this is not our subject, but right now that we're talking about this subject, so whatever satisfies the Lord is satkarm or good work or good deed. So the point on which we are discussing, vidya, the knowledge is knowledge or valuable which attaches us or focuses us towards the Lord. So when our mind and consciousness gets attached to the Lord, that knowledge is knowledge. So now check whatever education that you're getting, is it attaching you with the Lord? Then it is vidya.
क्या है?
Otherwise, that is nescience or ignorance.
कई बार हम लोग भ्रम में रहते हैं, हम
Sometimes we are in vision, we think that we are gathering knowledge, but by this knowledge, our mind is not focused on the Lord, but in the material universe. That means it is taking us away from the Lord. So this is not knowledge, but this is nescience.
सो विद्या उसे कहते हैं
So knowledge is something
में लग जाए,
that attaches us with the Lord.
हरि में बुद्धि उत्पन्न हो जाए, सा विद्या तन्मति।
That is Savidya or actual education or knowledge. So this is the definition of Vidya. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said or denoted this Vidya as
बोलो बोलो कैसी है? विद्या वधु जीवनम,
Vidya Vadhu Jivanam.
वधु के समान है।
So this knowledge is like a wife or a daughter-in-law,
कैसी बहू? नई नई बहू।
and it is like a newlywed daughter-in-law.
अंदर विद्या है,
So
उसका
a person who has this knowledge, how should he behave?
नई बहू
He
के समान।
he should behave like a new daughter-in-law in the home.
विद्या
So first you've understood the Vidya.
ऐसी
So Vidya means the consciousness that attaches us to the Lord. So it can be denoted as pure devotional loving service towards the Lord.
के पास विद्या है,
But a person who has this knowledge,
होना चाहिए उसका स्वभाव
how should he be? How should he behave?
वधु के
He
समान।
should
माने
behave like a newlywed daughter-in-law.
और नई नई बहू घर पर आई है, उस नई बहू के समान उसका स्वभाव होना
So
चाहिए।
that person should behave like a newlywed daughter-in-law.
वो वधु के समान होना चाहिए। तब आपके मन में प्रश्न होगा, वो वधु का
So there might be a question,
होता है।
what should be the behavior of this Vadhu or daughter-in-law? So she should have a soft heart.
घर पर आती है तो बिल्कुल कोमल स्वभाव होता है।
So when she
शुरू
enters the household, she has a very soft heart.
ज्वालामुखी तो बाद में होती है, 2-5 साल के बाद।
She is like the moonlight,
पहले
but later she becomes
मैं वधु के ऊपर कह रहा हूँ,
volcano.
फिर थोड़ा 1-2 साल जाने के बाद
So after 1 or 2 years, she becomes just like a sunflower because she gets little heat. But after 5-6 years, she becomes a volcano. She'll burst anytime.
कब फटा?
The person keeps on waiting, when will she burst?
लेकिन जिसके पास विद्या हो वो नहीं
So a person who has education
होगा।
should have a tender heart,
एक
kind heart.
चैतन्य महाप्रभु
First,
विद्या को वधु कहते हैं। वधु का
so
दूसरा
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, comparing Vidya with Vadhu
स्निग्धा।
or a newlywed daughter-in-law, and the second is Snigdha.
तो पूछ पूछ के काम करती है।
So
मम्मी जी
Snigdha implies that she asks, what should I do?
पहले साल
And shall I do it? So initial 1 or 2 years, it's 7. What shall I do for you?
दादी जी आपके लिए स्निग्धा।
So Snigdha.
तक रहे तो बहुत अच्छी बात है।
So if it's there throughout the life, then that's the best. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that.
के समान जिसके जीवन में विद्या है वो स्निग्धा।
So whoever has this knowledge,
पूछकर
he asks everything from his spiritual master, no matter how much
उस
educated or scholar he becomes, but still the benefit of this Vidya is that he is tender-hearted, kind-hearted.
करने वाला व्यक्ति विद्याधारी
A person who gathers knowledge and he becomes,
को पूछ पूछ
or he always think or take guidance or counsel of
ये विद्या की
his spiritual master and elders.
ओके विद्या
So that is the
वधु
symbol of education or literacy.
गुण क्या है?
And what is the third quality of a newlywed wife? Seva Parayana.
तो सेवा
So when she is new, she serves
मांगे तो दूध
everyone.
ला कर देती है।
She serves her husband.
सास की सेवा, ससुर की सेवा।
If the husband asks water, she offers milk.
जिसके पास
She works for father-in-law, mother-in-law, everyone.
जीवन भर
So
सेवापरायण बना रहेगा। उसके
a person who has this knowledge will always be anxious to serve others.
विद्या वधु के समान
So
जिसके पास विद्या है
a person who is a scholar, he will be tender-hearted. He should be sneak, or he should always ask others or elders or spiritual master, and he should be always
विद्या वधु के
anxious to work or serve others. And the fourth is,
का और एक स्वभाव क्या होता है
what is the behavior of a newlywed woman?
हास्यमयी
Madhur hasyamayi.
होती है नई नई बहू
So a newlywed wife,
हास्य उसका हास्य जो ना बड़ा
her smile is very sweet,
स्माइल बहुत अच्छी ये स्माइल बिगड़ती है 2-5 साल के बाद नए नए में तो बहुत
but it gets destroyed in 4-5 years. But initially, it is very, very beautiful.
विद्या है वो उस वधु के
So a person has
मधुर हास्य
education,
स्माइल होगी
so he will have a pleasant smile.
हम देखते हैं कि विद्या
But these days we see they have education, but they just
अविद्या है
are always in a foul mood. So a person, that means or implies that it is ignorance or avidya or nescience. Because a person who has knowledge will be tender-hearted. He will always try to serve others and will be pleasant to all. And another behavior of a newlywed wife, she will have a nectarian voice. When a newlywed wife sees that the nectar is flowing from her lips,
जिसके पास विद्या है उसकी वाणी अमृत
so a person who has knowledge, his speech will be very pleasant
वधु के समान है
or
जिसके पास
nectarian.
विद्या है उसके अंदर ये गुण दिखने चाहिए
So all these qualities should be seen or present in a person who is a scholar. Otherwise, we should think that it's incomplete, or is it's nescience. So that is why this example of a newlywed wife is given here. So I am saying that Vidya is like a newlywed wife, and her life and soul is Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So now tell me, if there is a newlywed daughter-in-law, and if she has one or two qualities less, it will still work. But if she doesn't have a life or soul, then what will happen? If she's not that beautiful, or if she's from a poor family, it's okay. Even if she's not intelligent, it will work. But if she doesn't even have life or soul, then what will happen?
वधु का प्राण है जीवन है श्री कृष्ण संकीर्तनम
So the life and soul of this education is
में विद्या
congregational chanting. So even if we have less education, or
लेकिन श्री कृष्ण संकीर्तन यदि करेंगे
but if we perform congregational chanting, then
रहेगा और धीरे धीरे
our life will be filled with soul, and gradually we will get all these qualities in ourselves.
सो विद्या रूपी वधु का प्राण जीवन है
So the life and soul of this transcendental knowledge is congregational chanting.
ये विद्या मानो भक्ति स्वरूपा है विद्या
So this Vidya can be donated as another devotional service towards the Lord.
सो विद्या या भक्ति रूपी वधु अपनी
So this another devotional service, which is under the shelter of congregational chanting and with the support of congregational chanting, it can increase the intensity or progress of a devotee in devotional service.
9 स्टेप बताए
So there are 9 stages in the path of bhakti or anala devotional service.
तो ये श्री कृष्ण संकीर्तन जो है
So Krishna Sankirtan can progress us to the level of asakti or attachment to the Lord. So there is a proverb. So in our school, it used to mention that Vidya Vinay Shobhate. So those who are humble, uh, that decorates their knowledge. If you have education but you don't have humility, then it is futile.
सो विद्या के साथ
So
यदि
this education, if you want humility along with that, then we should perform congregational chanting.
कृष्ण कीर्तन के विद्या
Bef-
मिल नहीं सकती
without
कृष्ण कीर्तन
congregational chanting of the Lord, we cannot get education. And if we get that education, it will be devoid of humility.
विनम्रता के विद्या
And without humility,
नहीं होती है
it can never be decorated.
इसलिए कहते हैं कि विद्या रूपी वधु
Therefore,
का
it is said that this education's life and soul is congregational chanting and humility. And from where we will get this humility? By congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord. So there is one other meaning.
का अर्थ होता है और एक अर्थ
So this Vidya's another meaning is Ved. So from where we can get actual knowledge? From the Vedic scriptures or Vedas. So we get knowledge from Vedas. So this knowledge from Vedas, life and soul, is what, or what is the topic? That is congregational chanting.
विद्या यदि वेद है
So if the education is denoted with Vedas, then its life and soul or her husband is, if or Vedic scriptures are wife, then her husband is congregational chanting. And therefore, in each and every verse of Vedas and Vedic scriptures, or the conclusion of the Vedic scriptures is congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord. So there are so many paths in Vedas, Upasana, Gyan, and there are so many pastimes, etc. But the conclusion of all of them is congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord.
और वेद यदि वधु है तो उसका
So if the Vedas are
कीर्तनम अर्थात
the wife,
माध्यम से
then their husband is congregational chanting.
गाई गई बताई गई है
Because in Vedas also the glories of congregational chanting are sung and explained.
विद्या की देवी कौन है
So who is the goddess of Vidya? We consider goddess Saraswati to be the epitome of knowledge. So here Vidya implies Saraswati Devi. And who is the life of her? That is congregational chanting of the holy names.
लीला में
So
हम
in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime, we see and listen to the pastime when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's father had died and he himself was running a school and he used to teach grammar there.
एक्सपर्ट थे
And he was such an expert that people used to address him as Nimai Pandit.
व्याकरण बहुत अच्छे से जानते हैं इसलिए इनको
Yes, he was very good in grammar, etc.
और उसी समय हमारे भारत में
And during that time in our country, there was a great scholar whose name was Keshav. And as he was a resident of Kashmir, therefore he was referred to as Keshav Kashmiri.
और वो केशव कश्मीरी
And this Keshav Kashmiri,
वेदों को पढ़कर बहुत
by reading the Vedas and becoming a great scholar, he wanted to prove
दुनिया में सबसे
that in this whole world, he is the most intelligent of all.
भ्रमण कर रहा था
And he was roaming around the whole
भ्रमण की यात्रा में जितने
India.
विद्वान मिलते थे
And
उसके साथ
whoever he used to get, he used to have a scholarly discussion. And whoever got defeated,
छीन लेता
he used to snatch all of their scriptures and used to bound them.
दिशाओं को
And this person who had already become victorious over so many people, and he reached Bengal.
जब नवद्वीप मायापुर
And when he reached Navdvip Mayapur,
के सारे विद्वान ब्राह्मण कांप
so all the Brahmanas became scared. He said that now he will argue with us and he will defeat us and he will bound us. So they all thought, let's do one thing. So there is a Nimai Pandit in our home. We will send Keshav Kashmiri to Nimai Pandit. The Nimai Pandit is just a small church. So there is not much dishonor in that. So when Keshav Kashmiri came, so when he said that you should argue with us or discuss with us, so he said that we have a great Brahman or scholar whose name is Nimai. So you should go there and have discussion with him. So at that time, Nimai was teaching his disciples and was sharing the glories of Ganga, Mother Ganga. And then he said that from where did Ganga originated? So someone said that Bhagiraji has bought it. So they said that from where Bhagirath got it? That they from the hair of so from where did it came to Shiva? So it came from Brahmalok, and from Brahmalok, where did it? So when Lord took the form of Vara avatar, Vaman avatar, and because his thumb of the feet got blood and the water was this. So then it was bought. So they said that from where did this came on Karanadakshai? So till this point, we all are aware that Janu Rishi bought it to Navdeep, and before that Bhagiraji, and before that Gangaji, and then Gangotri, etc. And in heaven in Brahmalok. So in Brahmalok also it came from Vaikuntha. From where did it came in Vaikuntha? So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was telling by congregational chanting of the Lord. So once Devadidev Mahadev was performing congregational chanting and he was enjoying, and Narad Muni reached there. So they both started doing the congregational chanting together. And the Lord Shri Krishna arrived there. And he started enjoying this congregational chanting. So Naraji and Shivji's eyes were closed and they did it for so many hours. And when his eyes opened, he saw that Lord Shri Krishna was so much overwhelmed with the emotion that his whole body got melted and it became the holy river Ganga. It became spiritual transcendental water. So this is the definition given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, it is called Ganga. Gam means Govind and Ga means Gamyati. So Lord Govind himself converted into a water. That is why it's called as Ganga. So this was being discussed and Mahaprabhu was teaching his disciples. And by the time Keshav Kashmiri came, and he said, who is Nimai here? So Nimai with his folded hands, with all humility said that I am addressed as Nimai. Said, I've heard that you are a great scholar and you're very wise. So a person who has knowledge is great, very humble. So he said that somebody has misinformed you. I am Nimai, no doubt, but I'm not a scholar. I don't have any such knowledge. He said that no. Brahmanas of your villages said that you are a great scholar and you are very wise. So you should do discussion with me. So this Keshav Kashmiri was the devotee of Saraswati Devi, and Saraswati Devi manifested in front of him and gave him a boon that you will never be defeated. I give you this boon. So on this basis, he was roaming the whole world So he came and said that now do the discussion with me. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that how I cannot dare to have do shastras with you, but now that you're here, let's do one thing. We are standing on the banks of Gangaji, so let's do some glories of Gangaji. So he was here to show his knowledge or wisdom. So as he was a scholar and he spoke 500 verses about Gangaji's glory, and they were not one that we was memorized. He had created them by seeing Gangaji. He was creating these verses and started speaking non-stop. So he was no doubt learned, scholar and intelligent. So after listening to that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorified him. He said that you're very intelligent and wise, but here the but is very troublesome. So first he glorified, but he said there is one problem.
प्रॉब्लम क्या है?
So Keshav Kashmiri said that
आपने
what
जो गंगा
is the problem? He said that the glories that you have sung, you have spoken 500 verse. In the 50th verse, there are 5 mistakes. So he became very, very upset and angry. Said that I've spoken 500 verse. How he could memorize 50th verse? First point. And second, if he has memorized that, and there are 5 mistakes in that, how can I commit five mistakes? That's not possible. So he said, what are the mistakes? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that please forgive me. It's not good to speak ill of others, but as you're asking, so I'm sharing it with you. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu shared the 5 mistakes of that verse. And in midst of thousands of people, he became ashamed. And on that night, he went away. And throughout the night, he worshipped Goddess Saraswati. And Goddess Saraswati appeared.
सरस्वती देवी प्रकट हुई, रोते हुए कहा कि माँ,
And he was crying and said, I was dishonored, disrespected. You have given me a vow, a boon that I will never be defeated by any human. So how could I be defeated today? How come your boon became a lie? So or failed? So Saraswati Devi said that I am the epitome of education, of knowledge. So I have given you the boon that you will never be defeated by any human. But the person with whom you have met today is not any human, ordinary human. He is my husband. He is my presiding deity, Lord Shri Krishna.
केशव कश्मीरी, तुम कोई साधारण मनुष्य से
Keshav Kashmiri, you haven't met any ordinary human being, but you have met the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. And I gave you the boon that you will be victorious of all the humans, but not from the Lord. And you're fortunate that you got this darshan of the Lord.
तो जा तुरंत उनके चरणों में गिर जा,
And you should go and fall down at his lotus feet, and ask for forgiveness and seek his blessing. So with folded hand, he went there and he attached himself to the congregational chanting of the holy names, revolution of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the life and soul of education is the congregational chanting of Lord Shri Krishna. So there are so many definitions. So we will listen to some information of the upcoming programs and then we will continue.
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे.
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा। सो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद पुनः फिर से श्रीमान लालगोविंद को कि आज इस भारत के लिए जो हम गौर पूर्णिमा सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं, वाकई में इसको हम ऐसा कह सकते हैं कि ये हमारी गौर पूर्णिमा अच्छी रही, क्योंकि आज के दिन हम यहाँ पर श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जो जन्म लीला से लेकर बाल्य लीला और अनेक अनेक पास्ट टाइम्स यहाँ पर प्रभु जी के मुखारविंद से श्रवण कर रहे हैं। और इसी के अंतर्गत बहुत सुंदर सुंदर चीजें हमें आस्वादन करने को मिली। जैसे आज प्रभु जी ने बताया कि अमेरिका के लिए आज जगन्नाथ मिश्र उत्सव है, जैसे नंदोत्सव आता है, भगवान श्री कृष्ण के जन्म के पश्चात यहाँ पर नंदोत्सव हम सेलिब्रेट करते हैं। तो वैसे आज उनके लिए जगन्नाथ मिश्र उत्सव है और हमारे लिए आज यहाँ पर गौर पूर्णिमा उत्सव है। और इसी के उपलक्ष्य में यहाँ पर बहुत सुंदर कथाएं हमने आज प्रभु जी के मुखारविंद से श्रवण की, जिसमें हमने सर्वप्रथम तो होली के विषय में जाना कि जीवन भी इस प्रकार से कलरफुल होना चाहिए। ये नहीं कि हम एकदम वैराग्य के जीवन में जिए, मतलब इस प्रकार का नीरस सा जीवन ना हो। एंड विद दैट भगवान के विषय में बहुत सुंदर यहाँ पर बताया चैतन्य महाप्रभु के और श्लोक में माध्यम से, जहाँ पर भागवतम के श्लोक में प्रभु जी ने बताया था कि कैसे भगवान अशुद्ध चित्त में भगवान के गुण रूप प्रकाशित नहीं होते हैं और वहीं पर नाम प्रकाशित होता है, जो भगवान का नाम हम जप करते हैं उसका बड़ा प्रभाव होता है। तो जब तक हम इस प्रकार से भगवत कथा या भगवत कीर्तन नहीं करते हैं तो हमारे लिए प्राय असंभव है कि हम भगवत प्राप्ति को कर पाए। तो बहुत सुंदर श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु की उस श्लोक में हमने शिक्षाष्टकम की महिमा भी श्रवण की। शिक्षाष्टकम की एक श्लोक जिसमें प्रभु जी ने बताया कि कैसे ये श्लोक ग्लोरीफाई करता है शिक्षाष्टकम को। जो व्यक्ति प्रतिदिन इस शिक्षाष्टकम को पढ़ता है, श्रवण करता है, उसके हृदय में कृष्ण भक्ति बढ़े दिने दिने, निरंतर वो भक्ति मार्ग में प्रोग्रेस करता है। तो ऐसा है ये सुंदर शिक्षाष्टकम। और इसी के अंतर्गत हमने बहुत ही सुंदर श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जन्म के समय पे एक लीला सुनी, जिसमें उन्होंने बताया प्रभु जी ने कि एक संस्कार होता है रुचि संस्कार। तो रुचि संस्कार के अंतर्गत ये देखा गया कि कैसे कुछ चीजें महाप्रभु के समक्ष रखी और महाप्रभु ने उन समस्त चीजों को में से श्रीमद् भागवतम को स्वीकार किया, उनको ग्रहण किया। तो कहीं ना कहीं मन में ये भी हमें आता है कि शायद ये संस्कार हमारे प्रिय श्रीमान लालगोविंद जी ने भी भागवत को ही पकड़ा होगा और इसीलिए हम देख रहे हैं कि भागवत को गा रहे हैं और कि स्वयं गा रहे हैं, परंतु लोगों को भी भागवत से अवगत करा रहे हैं। तो बड़ी महिमा है इस संस्कार की और ये भगवान की कृपा से, गुरु की जन की कृपा से और माता पिता के पुण्य से ही प्राप्त होते हैं। बड़े भाग्यशाली हैं हम कि हमें ऐसे गुरुजन वैष्णवजन के मुखारविंद से इस प्रकार भगवत लीला का स्मरण करने को मिल रहा है, श्रवण करने को मिल रहा है। थैंक यू सो मच प्रभु जी। और बहुत सुंदर यहाँ पर एक लीला प्रभु जी ने श्रवण कराई उस चोर की, जो कि महाप्रभु के पास आए थे उनकी जो ऑर्नामेंट्स है उसको चुराने के लिए, परंतु महाप्रभु ने के कीर्तन में कीर्तन के उस प्रभाव से हमने देखा कि कैसे वे चोर भी उनका भी मेल्ट हो गए, उनके भी जीवन में परिवर्तन आ गया और वे भी महाप्रभु को आनंद प्रदान करके महाप्रभु को यहाँ वहाँ घुमाने के पश्चात उनको कीर्तन करते करते उन्हीं के घर पर छोड़ के चले गए। तो ऐसा है हमारा कीर्तन, चाहे जैसे प्रभु जी ने बताया ना, वैसे हम इवन इफ यू चैंट हेट्रेडली, मतलब इस प्रकार घृणा के साथ इसे स्वीकार करें या फिर प्रेम से स्वीकार करें तो इसका प्रभाव अवश्य पड़ता है। तो यह है भगवान के कीर्तन की महिमा। और इसके पश्चात यहाँ पर विद्यावधु जीवनम, जो कि हमारे मूल विषय था शिक्षाष्टकम के प्रथम श्लोक में, जिसमें यहाँ पर विद्यावधु जीवनम में हम पहुंचे हैं और उसी के पास उनके अनेक अनेक अर्थ श्रवण किए प्रभु जी के मुखारविंद से। तो ये बड़ी सुंदर कथा है जहाँ पर हमने श्रवण किया कि कैसे श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु और यहाँ पर आचार्यों ने इनका अर्थ बताया है। और साथ ही साथ यहाँ पर अभी जो अंत में हमने पास टाइम श्रवण किया केशव कश्मीरी का। तो विद्यावधु, विद्या है वो भगवान की पत्नी है विद्यावधु, तो बहुत ही सुंदर, धन्यवाद प्रभु जी हम आपको, और धन्यवाद हमारे यजमान परिवार को जिन्होंने इस शुभ संकल्प के इस शुभ दिन पर हम सबको यह लाभ प्रदान किया। और साथ ही साथ आज जैसे हम देख रहे हैं कि गौर पूर्णिमा हम भारत के लिए और कल अमेरिका में इसको सेलिब्रेट किया गया, तो प्राय मुझे लगता है सभी भक्त लोग स्थान कहीं ना कहीं अपने आसपास के क्षेत्र में मंदिर में जाकर दर्शन किए ही होंगे, हम ऐसी आशा करते हैं। और आप सबने उपवास के द्वारा और आज सबसे अधिक कीर्तन और कथा श्रवण की, ऐसी हम आशा करते हैं। तो आज जैसे हमने बताया कि हमारे यजमान परिवार है, हमारे ब्रजविलासिनी माता जी नरेश प्रभु, जिनके घर पे बहुत ही सुंदर शिव विग्रह है, गौर निताई जी, जिन्होंने उनका दिव्य अभिषेक का हमको भी दर्शन कराया। तो हमने सोचा कि हम भी हमारे अमृत चर्चा परिवार के तथा हमारे जो समस्त श्रोतागण है उनको भी एक बार इनके दर्शन करा देंगे। और पिछले 11 साल से माता जी इस गौर निताई की सुंदर सेवा में लगे हुए संलग्न है, और हमारा बड़ा सौभाग्य है कि हमें घर पर रहते हुए भी इस ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म के माध्यम से भगवान श्री श्री गौर निताई के दर्शन अभिषेक करने को मिला है। और इसी के साथ साथ इनकी लीला कथा भी हम श्रवण कर रहे हैं। तो ये एक सोने पे सुहागा हम कह सकते हैं कि ये कथा कीर्तन और ये समस्त चीजें हमको यहाँ पर घर बैठे प्राप्त हो रही हैं। तो हम सबको भगवान को धन्यवाद करना चाहिए कि आपने हम पर इतना अनुग्रह किया है कि हम यदि हम जा नहीं सक रहे हैं, जब बाहर नहीं जा सकते मंदिर में, परंतु आपने अपनी अनुकंपा से हमको अपने स्थान पर घर पे ही इसको उपलब्ध करा दिया। तो ये बड़ी कृपा है और हमें धन्यवाद करना चाहिए हमारे गुरुजनों का, प्रभु जी का और समस्त वैष्णव का, किस प्रकार घर बैठकर हम इस कथा का रसास्वादन कर रहे हैं, अपने जीवन को धन्य कर रहे हैं। हम विशेष धन्यवाद करते हैं हमारे यजमान परिवार का, श्रीमान लालगोविंद जी का, कि हमें इस पावन अवसर पर इस सुंदर कथा का रसास्वादन करा रहे हैं। तो आइए पुनः हम निवेदन करें श्रीमान लालगोविंद जी से कि वह शेष कथा को श्रवण कराएं। हरे कृष्ण। धन्यवाद।
हे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे। विद्या वधु जीवनम। एक बार
So once, upon a time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Jagannath Puri was traveling towards the southern parts of India, and while he was moving, Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya said, when you will reach the banks of Godavari, then you should meet Rai Ramanand there, for sure. So Mahaprabhu met Rai Ramanand, and for 10 days and nights, they had a discussion. So one day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Rai Ramanand, "Oh, Rai Ramanand, in this world, Vidya, so we are still discussing this point, Vidya. He said that there are so many types of knowledge and education, but of all the education, which one is the best?"
प्रभु ने पूछा, प्रभु कहे कौन विद्या विद्या मध्य सार। प्रभु कहे कौन विद्या विद्या मध्य सार। राय कहे कृष्ण भक्ति विद्या नाही यार राय कहे कृष्ण भक्ति विद्या नाही यार। श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने कहा रामानंद,
So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Oh Ramanand, which education is the conclusion of all the education in this world? Which is the best knowledge of all?" Then the incarnation of Vishakha Sakhi, Sri Rai Ramanand replies, he says, without the unalloyed devotional service towards Lord Shri Krishna, there is no other better education or knowledge than that. So what does it imply? So whatever education is given in Oxford or Cambridge, so the best education is that is being taught here. So all these people who are sitting here are attaining or getting the best knowledge of all. And what is the proof of the same? Why? So whenever we speak about something from Vedic instructions, we give reference. So the best education is the education to perform devotional service towards the Lord. So if I ask you a question in this world, in the greatest of universities of all, if you go and you get the knowledge from them, so what more can you become by doing the same? In this world, in the greatest of the university, and if you get the greatest of education, so what you can become? You will become a doctor or an engineer. You might get a great position in a big company or organization. But Rai Ramanand replies, in this world, in the greatest university, even if you get best education and you can become a lawyer, doctor or engineer, but for how many years? For 25, 30 years, but after you die, you don't know what will you become. You will become a cat or a dog or donkey, who knows? But if someone performs unalloyed devotional service towards the Lord, then he gets the Gopi Bhav and becomes the beloved of Lord Shri Krishna. So that is the greatest position of all. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asked, he replied, Gopira, but I mean, so by getting the knowledge of pure devotional service towards the Lord, and we will come in the eternal form of a gopi. So what is the process for doing the same? So this is replied by Bhakti Vinod Thakur in his interpretation. So it's little technical, but now that we have started this discussion, so let's try to understand it carefully and deeply. So Thakur Bhakti Vinod says, please see